Welcome to the Shore Show. I'm Pat O'Melia here, live on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights. Hopefully I got all my glitches handled. It's the first time I'm broadcasting live radio-wise here on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. I'm all by myself. I got no help here. I'm battling the elements. I can hardly read any of the equipment levels, gauges. You know, the sun is pretty bright here. So we're going to have to construct something when I'm back in the North Bergen studio next week that we can read the computer screen, read the mixer here. All that would be very helpful if I could see what the hell I'm doing here. But my problem is that there's a lot to learn, and I'm learning it on the fly here. But right now, it looks like I got good levels from what I can see. We got a show. We're here live on the boardwalk. Things are starting to pick up. People are walking along on the boardwalk. They're having a good time. The weather's really great this weekend. You are going to have a good weather all week. The beaches are pristine. The ocean looks pretty clean. I don't know if Billy Ramboli here, the DPW director, could do anything but the ocean. But he's got the beach pristine. Now, Billy and his crew drag that beach. They go around 5, 6 o'clock every morning. They get it all set up for the people. The boardwalk is in great shape. Billy Ramboli and his team has been renovating the boardwalk. I think every winter they do a couple of blocks of the boardwalk here where they replace all the planks. I'm looking at them up at the Franklin Street stage here right now, and I could see where Billy and his gang worked on the ramps, and they put new sections on here. You got some new picnic tables right up on the boardwalk opposite the stage here. It's really a great boardwalk. It doesn't get the respect it deserves. Because every time you hear the best boardwalk, it's always Atlantic City or Wildwood. Seaside Heights has a really nice boardwalk, and it's not a retail boardwalk like in a Wildwood or especially Ocean City. Yeah, it's all it is. There's everything you want here. There's games of chance. You can buy clothes. There's food options. Now, I'm sitting here on the boardwalk, and I'm looking at like 5 food options just sitting here. I got the Monty's. I got the Beachcomber with the best pizza on the boardwalk. I'm going to do one of these days. I keep saying this for years that I'm going to do a pizza contest. I can't be a judge because my personal opinion, the Beachcomber has the best pizza, and for the best bang for the buck, too. Yeah, I'm a Jersey City guy, live in Jersey City. Yeah, a slice of pizza in Jersey City is going to set you back $4.50. A slice of pizza at the Beachcomber is $5, but it's like the slice is huge. It's a huge. For that matter, my wife and I had dinner at the Beachcomber last night. I had 2 huge slices. Probably should have, but I had 2 huge slices of pizza and an order of the fried calamari. My wife had 1 slice and an order of the fried calamari. And fortunately, she couldn't eat all the fried calamari, so I got to handle that for her. I got the house of fries. There's so many food options. There's so many games. You got the arcades here. You got the old time photos. You got Lucky Leo's Sweet Shop. I like to look at. Rest his soul. He passed on. I guess about 3 years now. Lucky, interesting guy. Lucky Leo, born in Lakehurst, and he was telling me a story. His father was an auto mechanic at a gas station and a repair shop, and he's sitting outside. And he's watching his blimp come in Lakehurst, and the blimp was the Hindenburg, and he got to see that. He watched the Hindenburg go up, and the guy got into the boardwalk here in 1953. I'm looking at the signage now. Hello, girls. Hello. I'm looking at the signage now, 1953, and he started to stand. What made me laugh, I guess we're doing this. We're taping the Shore Show, the television version of our radio show here. This is the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. Lucky Leo's, he decided to get in the candy business, and his daughter-in-law and family, and they have absolutely no experience in the candy business. They're making the candy from scratch, and it turns out they were naturals in this, and they had a great candy shop. And you still got Berkeley here. Berkeley was down by the Funtown Pier, and they had the big fire, burned out Berkeley, but Berkeley's now down on the northern end of the boardwalk. All your favorite stands are here, but the real thing in Seaside Heights, it's the boardwalk, it's the beach. And, they should give Billy Ramboli an award every year for keeping this boardwalk and beach as pristine as it is, especially the beach. You get there in the morning when that beach opens, it looks like perfect beach. And you can't ask for more from the municipality. And tell you, this weather, I tell you, you're coming down. If you're hearing my voice right now, get in the car, come down here, even if you come down for the day. Beautiful day. It's going to be good weather all day. Come on down. I see a lot of parking. You got the private lots, you got the municipal parking spaces. You're in good shape down here. Whatever you need, whatever your budget is, it'll fit in Seaside Heights. Yeah, if you want to come down for a day trip, boom. You want to come down for an overnight, you got it. You got the motels. You got a lot of rental opportunities here. I think the motels right now are like $85 for a night. If you're coming down for 1 or 2 nights, that's what. If you're going to stay longer than that, you want to get an efficiency or an apartment, and you got a lot of options when it comes to that. You know, the efficiencies in the motels, don't hold me to it. I think they go about $160 a night. But you're doing your own cooking, and you want to stretch your budget. Yeah, you want to enjoy the boardwalk here, the pizza, the peppers, the sausage and peppers, and the cheesesteaks. But you don't want a steady diet of that if you're going to be here all week. It's for one, not healthy. Even if you look at me, I shouldn't be talking about eating healthy, even though I'm trying to do more, eating Nutri-Grain bars and stuff like that. I had an orange for breakfast this morning, whole wheat toast. So I'm trying to do a better job at it. You know, it only took me to get 68 years old to decide I should start eating better. But you cook at home or cook at the efficiency of the rental, really stretch your dollar. And especially here in Seaside Heights or Tom's River, because once you get on Route 37, you know, it becomes a real world. Seaside Heights is a shore town. You know, once you get over the bridge, then you got the ShopRites, you got, you know, the Big Lots is gone now, Walmart, the major chain stores. One of the, where you want to stretch a dollar, you go to Fortune Buffet down on St. Catherine Boulevard. It's about 8 miles from Seaside Heights, right on Route 37. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. And, I mean, it is a good all-you-can-eat buffet. They got like 10 buffet stations. They got everything from salads to entrees to ice cream, and it's all there. And it's like $16 a person for all you can eat. And we try to go there when I'm in Seaside Heights. When I'm in Seaside Heights, I'm definitely going there Saturday or Sunday. You know, you got Alex and Amy there. Alex is the head corraler there. I got to sit down with Alex one of these days, maybe a broadcast from there one of these days, on how they maintain the food stock, how they inventory the stock. Because you go there, very seldom you see anything empty, any of the pans. So somebody's monitoring this, and the kitchen's got to be going a mile a minute. You go to Fortune Buffet, you're going to wait, but you're not going to wait long. The service is great. You know, you get your own food, but Amy and her crew, they take the plates away, they're refilling your soda. For that matter, I think you pay $3 for your first soda, and after that, you can swim in soda free. So you're out of there, all said and done, for about $19. And, of course, you got, you know, the Wendy's on Route 37. You got the McDonald's on Route 37. You got everything out there. So you can stretch your dollar any way you want here in Seaside Heights. But, again, if you're coming down, I would come down tonight. I would come down today. I'd head right now. Head right now. Get down here. Get on the beach for a while. Go up to Beachcomber. You can have a lunch up there. Go over here to Coors Ice Cream. You can have an ice cream. There's a lot to do here. But right now, we're going to break for commercial. Hopefully I do this right. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
Here and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net, at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
All right, I'm back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition here. Yeah, they're battling the sun here. We're going to have to figure out something. I can cover up these gauges on my computer and my mixer here. I can hardly see anything. They just sent a text to my North Bergen studio so they could tweet out that I'm live on the boardwalk. I'm having a hard time seeing my phone here. But we're here. We're live. You can see me. I'm right here on the boardwalk on the Franklin Street stage, promoting the fine borough of Seaside Heights here. And, okay, it's really a nice day. I'm looking at the Ocean View restaurant. They got, I see the 4 American flags. They're flapping somewhat. You got a bit of a breeze down here. Really, I tell you, it's been a while since I sat up here on the boardwalk. It's nice. I'm watching the businesses open. I see the tiny, old-timey Photos is opening up right now. The Twisted Fish is opening. Everything's starting to, Lucky Leo's behind me is starting to open up. So things are starting to happen up here in Seaside Heights. And you should be down here. You should be down here in Seaside Heights, enjoying the day, enjoying the night, staying here for the weekend, arranging for a week, stay over for a week. Now, before my kids bought a house down here, for that matter, I should get the Airbnb number here. You can rent the apartment. It's an honest apartment, too. Yeah, 2 bathrooms, 2 showers, dining room, kitchen, living room, all the streaming channels, which is really turning into an issue to try to keep streaming channels. For that matter, I seen a commercial yesterday for Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max in one bundle for $16-something. I have them all separate, so I assume I'm going to start saving some money. But I don't want any commercials. If I'm watching a movie, I don't want the commercials. I'll pay the premium on that. So I got to find out what the package is. I didn't know Disney Plus purchased HBO. I know they had Hulu. And I know we got the big new sport fans. Now, ESPN is basically going to take over the NFL. They're taking over the NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, and some other properties. And they also cut a deal with the WWE. So times are changing there. So the streaming is it. For a while, we thought streaming was going to kill the cable networks, but the cable networks seem to survive. Now the streaming is starting to become the cable networks. They're becoming what they originally were battling against. But if you're a football fan, pay attention to what's going on with the ESPN and the NFL. If you want to watch the game, but I'm telling you, there's going to be a time, and not too distant future, where there will be no game on the networks, 2, 4, 7, that sort of thing, where we grew up with that. It was always Sunday. There was a game on 2 at 1 o'clock. There would be a game at 4 o'clock. Late game, the 8 o'clock game, Monday night, all that is changing, and you're going to have to go find these games, whether on ESPN or whatever station. I know Paramount still got a deal. YouTube's got the NFL package there, but it's like really expensive. It's like $500 a year. Yeah, things are expensive, but if you're an NFL fan, pay attention to what's going on there so you can find out where your teams are and be able to enjoy the football season, but it might be pricey. So now somebody on Twitter did the pricing for all the networks that may be carrying NFL games, and it was going to cost you something like $1,200 a year to be able to watch the entire football season, and that gets pretty pricey. But one of the things that ruined, and I used to watch basketball religiously back in the 70s when I was a kid, and then he started migrating over to cable. We didn't have cable. So you kind of lost interest. Like the Yankees now, you try to find a Yankee game. It could be anywhere. Say the same, on television, hard to find these guys. Everybody's got a piece of the Yankee network. Same thing with the Mets. It's hard to follow your team. And I think that's going to happen with the NFL. But right now, Let's get back to Seaside. We're here in Seaside Heights, live on the Franklin Street stage. Looking out of Franklin. Not many people here yet. They're starting to get up on the boardwalk. People are walking along, enjoying the good morning. Opening up the stands. The stores are opening. I think the beach covers starting to open up down there. So right now is the perfect time. Just be sitting on the beach, enjoying the ocean. Looks pretty good from what I'm seeing out there. It looks nice and blue. Got some industrial ships out there. Some cargo ships floating out there on the ocean. It's really just an ideal morning. You're going to have that on Saturday also. You might have some rain Sunday evening, but if you're coming down just for the weekend, you're all right with that. But even if you're here for the week, you know, when we're talking about coming down to Seaside Heights for a vacation, a weekend, 3-day trip or something like that, even if it rains, there's things for you to do down here. You got a planetarium down here. You got the big center where I was talking about, Fortune Buffet on St. Catherine Boulevard, right off Route 37. Just past the new RWJ Children's Hospital. There's a big movie theater in there, and it's a nice one. I've seen a couple of movies there already. I like the, it used to be a Curaçao's 14 in Secaucus, but I think it's Regal took them over. I'm not liking Regal. Actually, Regal's pretty damn expensive. We went, I'm not big on the comic book movies. I am going to go see Weapons probably next Thursday. Check that out. But normally, if it's a cape or a robot or dinosaurs in it, I'm going to see it. We go to the theater here in Secaucus in Mill Creek, and it's $20. They really raised the price there. It's expensive to go to movies. And my daughter and I, Gina, it's like a tradition for us. Gina and I go to see movies all the time. We've been doing it for like 30, 40 years now. The kid's an adult, a PhD, and so we go to see these movies together. And she'll go get the combo. So the 2 sodas and the garbage can size popcorn, and you get some candy. I paid $46 for that. That's also a tradition. Dad continues to pay, even though PhD here doesn't reach into our pocket. Boy, look at what the hell? $46. The soda was $9. And I think you may get refills on it, but it's really a huge soda now. How many refills? How much soda do you want? But I do eat all the popcorn. We eat all the popcorn, but it's getting very expensive. And when they talk about some of these movies, they're saying like Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four, they didn't do $1 billion. They're the flops. That's not the case. $1 billion, that's an exception. There's not the rule in movies. There's only so many Endgames, Infinity Wars, Avatars, Iron Man 3. I still can't believe Iron Man 3 did $1 million. Of all the Iron Men, that was the worst. That is the movie I grade all comic book movies against, Iron Man 3. Well, Iron Men, that should have been. There were a lot of Iron Men in that. If a movie's going to come in, if you can do about $500 million, I think you're in good shape. Superman did it. I think the Fantastic Four will do it. Then you got the pay-per-view, pay-for-video. Then you got the streaming. These movies will do fine. Believe me. Disney and Marvel, they're going to have dinner tonight. They're going to eat real well. But everybody, it didn't do $1 billion. It's not making it. Well, one of the problems doing $1 billion, maybe, it's so damn expensive to go to movies now. That's something that has to be looked at. I know that the operators, they get 50% of the tickets. So when you look at a movie that does, the budget was $200 million, and it did $240, so it made a profit. Not yet. You got marketing costs, and 50% of the ticket revenue goes to the theater. And as I understand it, I think after 2 weeks, I think it goes up to 60% of the ticket revenue to the theater. So the theaters want those blockbusters in there also. That's where they make good money. But their real money is on the concession. And I think they're getting a little greedy on the concessions now. I know, like I said, normally we'd pay like $30 for the sodas and the popcorn. And that's fountain soda and the popcorn. It probably cost the theater maybe like $3 total. Most expensive thing was probably the bucket for the popcorn. But yeah, that was fine with me. Until now, I was paying $46. Not too fine with that. But there is a theater here in Seaside Heights, in Tom's River. It's got all the first run. It's a beautiful theater in there, and it's right next to the Fortune Buffet. So what you can do, like what we do in Jersey City, we'll go to the movies in Secaucus. We'll see the movie, then we'll go over to Tokyo Hibachi. It's another all-you-can-eat place, and good food there also. And again, the same thing. From salads, sushi bar. Both of the places have sushi bars. Same thing in Fortune Buffet. To dessert, ice cream, all that, cheesecake. You name it, they got it there. So we'll go over there. We'll have dinner, and maybe if we're really in a gluttonous mood, we'll stop at Cups and have some frozen yogurt. I like frozen yogurt. I'm not really a yogurt guy, but I like frozen yogurt. But I am trying to eat healthier now. My wife just informed me that yogurt isn't healthy. There's a lot of sugar in it. Yeah, I get to the point where now I'm trying to eat healthy, but I also want to enjoy the food I'm eating. Yeah, I'm not really big into yogurt. I'll eat the yogurt, but now you're telling me it's not good for me. And what I really love is ice cream. Oh, I could do some damage on ice cream. You give me some strawberry ice cream, orange and vanilla ice cream, I could do some serious damage on it. I was saying what we should get is the sugarless ice cream. And I'm just looking at. She just told me this yesterday, by the way. We should get the sugarless ice cream. Yeah, how could that possibly taste without sugar in it? Now, maybe they're putting the sweet and low stuff in there, saccharin, that sort of thing. That's a possibility. But I like my ice cream, and I like it with the sugar in it. Let's talk about some of the interesting things here before we babble on about Seaside Heights. We got an election here in New Jersey for governor. That's Mikey Sherrill, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, versus former state assemblyman Jack Citarelli. When it first broke, let me get my vitamin water out of my cooler here, because I'm a healthy drinking guy. Also got 2 big bottles of Gatorade in there. We got the election here when it first started, when the poll numbers first came out. It was Mikey Sherrill was up like 22 points, which that wasn't right. And when it comes to polls in Jersey, we don't get them right anymore. There's a guy, he was doing the Monmouth polls for years and years, and now he broke out on his own. I think his operation is called Insight. Let me charge my phone up so I don't forget that. Got all my notes on that phone. He's doing polls on his own now. The Monmouth University got out of it. So I think it's Insight is the name of it. As this campaign goes on, I'm sure he'll do quite a few of them. He's got the race now down to 6 points. And for Jack Citarelli, it's Mikey Sherrill. Now, I'm a Hudson County guy, Jersey City. It's all Democrats up there. I come down here in Ocean County, it's like bizarro world to me. It's all Republicans down here. Mikey Sherrill is trying to tie everything into Trump. I don't know about the strategy of that. She said, if I'm elected governor, I'll fight Donald Trump. Oh, you want to fight Donald Trump? You're already in Washington now. You did a better job fighting in D.C. than you were from Trenton. And stay where you are if you want to fight Trump. But that's one of the problems we have. It's just a war. The Democrats, I'm going to get into this thing with the crime at D.C. later in the show, I think. Whatever happens with Trump, they're against it. And they call it Trump derangement syndrome. I honestly believe that is a problem with the Democrats. I don't know where the hell the Democrats are going. And I don't want to mention names. I deal with all the Democrats in the studio in North Bergen. I've known these guys for years and years and years. I won't say any names, but they're like, I'm all in favor of the economy. The tariffs, and not a lot of us understand the tariffs, but if you bring in billions and billions of dollars in investments to the country, the United States, that seems to be pretty good. I think the fallacy of what Mikey Sherrill is doing is trying to connect Citarelli to Trump. That might blow up in the face. Now, today, I know Trump, as part of my notes, Trump's meeting with Putin today about trying to resolve the issue in Russia and Ukraine. This guy's already been nominated for a Nobel Prize. Just what he did in the Middle East may get him a Nobel Prize. He's taking on the situation in D.C. with the crime, which we'll get into later in the show. That may be a real mistake, tying this, because if the economy's going well, coming into November, and if there's peace in the world, which I don't know if we've ever had that everywhere, but it seems Trump is there's a war, Trump will go and try to stop it. That may be a big plus. There's a lot of things going in Citarelli's favor. The electric bill thing, that is astounding that you have people, especially down here with JCP&L in Ocean County, where last year they were paying like $68 for an electric bill. Now their bill's $400. We completely blew it on energy here in New Jersey. And you got to point a finger at Trenton there, and with Murphy and the Democrats, and again, a lot of these guys that I've known for years, a friend of mine, who are complicit with this energy program we have. Again, Hudson County guy here. We were closing nuclear plants, we were closing electric generating plants. For that matter, we prevented some generating plants from coming online. There was one in North Bergen that was scheduled to be built, and there was another one in Kearney at the Copper's Cove plant. And both of them were turned down by Trent. Oh, you can't have that. We're going to go green, put some propellers up there, some wind farms. That didn't happen. Well, guess what? We're not generating enough electricity. Think about, just in my lifetime, how much our dependency on electricity has changed. Actually, you might even have to go back to when I was a kid. Just go back, I don't know, maybe just 20 years. Think about your apartment. What was running on electric then and what's running on electric now? Everything we touch is running on electric now. Everything. We're all walking with phones, and those phones have to be charged. Everything has to be charged. You got the guys on scooters. Everything in your house is now on electric. When I was a kid, we had the TV, you had the refrigerator. You might have had a stereo that was on electric, and you had the lights. That was it. Now, everything in your house is on electric. And they were trying to knock out gas stoves there for a while. The natural gas was a problem. Natural gas is not a problem. The natural gas burning plants, they run very clean. Nuclear runs extremely clean. We closed nuclear plants here. And now we're scratching our butt here. So what are we doing about the electric? We're not generating enough electric. You're right, we're not generating it. Not only are we not generating it, we close plants that generate it. We close nuclear plants, and then we stop other plants from coming online. That's why, maybe at Jack Citarelli, we built some plants. The nuclear plants, unlike the 3 Mile Island deal anymore, they're smaller, what they call like pocket nuclear plants. And like I said, the gas-fired, even the coal-fired generating plants are clean. You're using the technology we have today. They got the scrubbers on there. Europe is big with the coal. What isn't working is wind and solar. Now my kids, they got a house here in Seaside Heights, and it easily have probably 140 solar lights of all descriptions around the house. Got solar lights on the garage. They got solar lights on the fences. They got solar lights on the steps. They got solar lights everywhere you walk. For that matter, when there was a power outage, I was down here sometime last year. There was a power outage. Wonder why. JCP&L is terrible. Who speaks highly of PS&G? I do now. After experience in JCP&L down here. They had a power failure here. And Seaside Heights actually has their own power plant, but they get the feed from JCP&L. Ramboli and Mayor Vazin will do a great job with the power plant, but they get the feed from JCP&L. There was a power failure, but the place, this town is dark here. This last year at Seaside Heights, except for one beacon. It was my kid's house with all the solar lights. The whole thing was lit up. For that matter, the cops were pulling alongside because you get light, you can do whatever paperwork they had to do. There's lights on the front fence, there's lights on the side fences, there's lights on the steps, there's lights on garages, there's lights everywhere at the kids' house. They got there's a bald eagle lit up there, you got globes, you got this light, you got all sorts of lights in there. For that matter, they added some mushrooms, some solar mushrooms in there. There's a lot of solar lights. That place is pretty lit. But if you don't have sun, you don't have no solar lights. If you don't have wind, you don't have any wind farm. So when you're working with natural gas or nuclear or even coal, it's not dependent on the elements, the weather, wind or the sun or clouds. That's what we need to embrace. And as I was saying with Citarelli and Trump, the more you keep tying Trump to Citarelli, that may be a real benefit for Jack Citarelli. I'll give Citarelli credit for one thing. He's a businessman. He's an accountant by trade. He understands small business guy here. I would like to get government out of small business. I get a lot of the regulations. We got the thing with the 1099, the gig employees right now, where the Department of Labor is pushing like hell to do away with anybody having a side hustle or being a freelancer. And freelancers, they could be video editors like I use or camera guys. People are shooting weddings. Most of them are 1099s. Tractor-trailer drivers, owner-operators, Uber, Lyft, dog groomers. There's all sorts of side hustles that people are doing. And New Jersey is trying to cut that out. And there's like almost 2 million people, or what they call a 1099 or a side hustle, whatever you want to call that. Let me see what I'm getting text here, hopefully. My guys are monitoring what I'm doing here. I tweeted payroll at the end. Listen to you now. Sounds good. I sound good, I'm being told. We're broadcasting well. That's what I'm being told right now. That's my guy Garrett in the North Bergen studio. Now, you can listen to our shows on GGR. You can download the app on Live 365. And you can listen on your smart speakers. You can listen on your Alexa. and I listen to the shows on Alexa or your Siri or your Google, whatever the hell they are. Yeah, anything you can listen to these on your cell phones. Good thing about radio, you can listen to anywhere. Yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Comcast Television and Optimum. Optimum, it's getting a little crazy. I think they might have changed some personnel there. I've not been able to get in touch with my broadcasting partners at Optimum and what we call the least access department. To work on that next week. Now, a lot of our shows, we're putting them on Spotify, so you can get our shows on Spotify. You'll be able to get it, of course, on YouTube. We produce medical shows at Hudson Media Group, and we have our not-for-profit that teaches. I'm a teacher. We're teaching high school kids, and it looks like college kids this year, studio production and radio production. For that matter, I wouldn't mind having some of those kids right now with me. Get Jamari or Zuli or some of these guys down here, where they can be doing the grunt work about putting this set together. Yeah, for that matter, I'm going to be broadcasting on Fridays and Saturdays. And I had this set up in my kids' garage, and I broke it down yesterday because I'm going to be up here. I load the car. I got the smallest car possible that I can drive up here on the boardwalk. I get a kick out of driving on the boardwalk, too. People see a car on the boardwalk, it's like, oh, no. So I got a little Chevy Avo out there, and I figured out everything on it. The folding table here, we got this little 4-foot by 3-foot folding table. I got 2 stackable chairs. I got everything figured out to fit in that little blue car, and it is a very little car. For that matter, we call the car tiny. But I got 2 bad knees. Hopefully, in September, I will get my knees repaired or replaced. One at a time, not doing both of them. The mind, I still have the enthusiasm and the mind to go out and do things. Not realizing my legs are letting me down. Yeah, I'm loading the car up last night, and legs start to really pain me. For that matter, I have to actually go into the studio. I'll have Garrett come down. He comes down with a wheelchair and just rolls me through the building to try to save on my legs there. Because I can probably do about 7,000 steps a day until it becomes really a problem. And if it's really humid or it's raining, I'm not going to near 7,000 steps. But my studio is a huge building. It's like 3 blocks long. And to walk through there, it's challenging. So I load the car up last night, and I'm realizing, probably not a good idea. I'm going to have to drag this stuff up to the stage, and it's only me here with the 2 bad knees. So I got my buddy Mike Grayson down here. He gave me authorization to drive up on the boardwalk here, open the gate, drive up, unload it. But still, I got a lot of work underneath. So I should probably try to get some help down here. But we're going to do this until September. I might broadcast the Columbus Day Festival down here. We're looking for our Wi-Fi hotspot. For that matter, I got to speak to Garrett. Garrett, if you're listening, go in the van and check the doghouse. The 2 compartments in the doghouse of the big van. The Wi-Fi hotspot possibly could be in the van. But I'll text you later on that. My guys are listening in the main studio. We're getting back to Jack Citarelli. It's going to be Jack Citarelli and Mikey Sherrill. I haven't really formed an opinion yet. I'm probably leaning towards Citarelli because the small business aspect, really important that we save these guys, these gig workers. Again, Jersey, we're doing movies all over New Jersey. Believe me, those people aren't employees. They're being hired for that project. They're gig workers. They're side hustles. Everybody working on those movies is a side hustle. You want to blow up that industry? We just started it, and we're doing pretty good with it. For that matter, might be one of the programs we start this year with the high school and the college kids. I don't believe in make busy work. I like to make shows. Have something, you guys are going to work on the show, you're going to have a product, you're going to write it, you're going to shoot it, you're going to light it, you're going to do the audio, you're going to do the graphics, you're going to film it, you're going to edit it, you're going to put the package together, and boom. Now, once you learn the equipment, we're ready to go. All right, listen, I'm going to break for commercial. I'll check my Texas here. You're listening to the Shore Show Seaside Heights edition live on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition, live on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights. I'm on the Franklin Street stage, watching some of Tommy Boyd's people ride by. How you doing there, officer? A lot of police presence in Seaside Heights. See, what happens in Seaside Heights, police-wise, during the season, they have the population of Hoboken, New Jersey. About 70, 80,000 people here. Now, during the off-season, it goes down to about 1,600 people. You know, it's a ghost town during the off-season down here. You can lay in the boulevard, you won't get run over. There's no parking issues during the off-season down here at Seaside Heights. But what happens if Tommy Boyd, who was the chief of police down here in Seaside Heights, I don't mean he's a cop's cop. And Tommy, if Hollywood casting was looking for an individual who looked like a police chief, it's Tommy Boyd. He's the guy. And he's really a cop's cop, and a good guy, too. Tommy can't lay off any police officers because they would find a job in another police division or city in a moment. So you got to keep him here. So in the off season, you see a lot of cop presence. You know, you do anything wrong during the off season, they're going to get you down here. But they got a lot of time on their hands. But right now, you know, you see the police presence here in Seaside Heights. It's constant. They're on the boardwalk. They're on the streets. So Seaside Heights is a very safe place to vacation. And we had a situation here last week after the lifeguards left, and there was rip currents. They had the red flags up. A group of individuals jumped in the ocean. Yeah, you want to listen. Everybody does it. You want to cool off. You want to swim around a little bit. The problem was the rip currents were severely dangerous that day, and it took a lot of these people out to the ocean. Unfortunately, one individual drowned and passed on. Mayor Vaz and the borough of Seaside Heights are going to enact some new rules here that they're going to close the beaches when the ocean is dangerous. And basically, you got deadly rip currents. And if you've ever been caught in a rip current, it is really astonishing the power of it. When I grew up in Jersey City. We used to swim in the Hackensack River. I'm surprised I've lived this long, growing up in Dogpatch, Jersey City, swimming in the Hackensack River in the 70s, when fish couldn't swim in the Hackensack River in the 70s. And all the chemicals, and we would play on 55-gallon drums of things that were oozing out of it. And we're all still alive, all the guys. We all have bad knees because, unfortunately, one of the places we could get a job at was this place called Frederick's Truck and Trailer Repair. And we all became trailer mechanics because Fred was a nut, and he hired these dumbass kids like me and my friends Alfie and Mikey Evans and Norman rest his soul. We were all trailer mechanics. We taught, but guy was pretty patient. Now, I teach a lot of people. When I got into trailer repair, I taught a lot of people also. And in the studios, there's a lot of kids that came through my studios that are now doing well in the video business, whether movies or television or news stations. MSNBC's got a lot of my guys. Verizon had a lot of my guys. News 12 has a lot of my guys. So we got a pretty good reputation. For that matter, we might be bringing in Hoboken High School into our program this year. And I was asked about my teaching philosophy. My teaching philosophy is such: once you learn the equipment, I throw you in the deep end of the pool. You're going to learn. We don't make busy work. We do real shows. That's my entire teaching philosophy. But getting back to working with Fred Richard Truck and Trailer, we all stayed in that field for 20 years. I did 25 years or so, repairing trailers and tractors and selling them, that sort of thing. And I spent a lifetime riveting these things back together or tearing them down and jumping out of them. I would jump out of these trailers, and Mikey did, and Alfie did. All of us did the same thing. We all have knee problems today. And an old boss of mine, Lee Brenner, I hope he's alive. I haven't heard anything about Lee in a long, long time. I was a foreman at Fruhoff, and I'd jump out of the back of the trailer. I was a young kid. And Lee would say, "Don't do that. As you get older, you're going to have a problem with your legs." I'm like, "Be quiet, crazy old man. I know everything there is to know about trailers. I know everything. I'm young. I'm like 22, 23. I know it all. I'll jump out of the back of trailers." So I used to jump out of the back of trailers. I don't know. It's a good 4-foot drop. I don't know, 50, 100 times a day. I'm paying for that now. Same as my man Mikey Evans got his knees replaced. I think Alfie just got his right knee replaced. All of us I got to get them replaced here. But we all, train people. We were all trained by this guy Fred Rich, and that's why I have these knee problems. But I don't mind training. I go out of my way to teach these kids, and it's good. We got I got a bunch of the high school kids in the studio right now cleaning and dusting. It's amazing how much dust gets in that studio. It is astonishing how much dust. You're sitting there, the legs of the tripod, the dust, you got to clean that. The legs of the table, the radio broadcast, everything gets dusty in there. Where am I? Before I just keep rattling around here, what's my next topic? Yeah, I can hardly see anything because of we're talking about the beaches and Mayor Boss. So what they're going to do, I get my little rules here. They're going to close the beach so you can have access to the ocean. Now, in theory, it sounds like it's pretty smart. It's going to be dangerous. These people jumping in the ocean. The problem is, I don't think Mayor Boss has a leg to stand on legally about closing the beaches. Now, just because you're on a beach doesn't mean you're going to jump in the ocean. You may just want to sit on the beach. You may just want to walk on the beach. You want to collect some seashells. But just because the ocean is dangerous doesn't mean you're going to jump in it. And I think anybody who challenges this in a court of law wins easy. I think you could challenge this at the Seaside Heights council meeting. You just can't close the beach because it's a rough surf, But right now they're going to do that. And Mayor Vaz was talking about issuing citations and tickets if you don't get off the beach. I just don't think that's enforceable nor legal, but we'll see where all that goes. But if you're on the beach and you see the red flags, because they got these flags out here, and you got red, the green, the yellow, that sort of thing. If the flags are red, you don't go out. But I was saying with the rip currents, I know where I was going. We used to swim in the Hackensack River. And when I was a kid, I remember I got caught in one of them. And I tell you, it moves you pretty damn quick. And it was taking me out. And I was probably, my youth, I was a really strong swimmer. So I knew I had to I was going with the current, but I was moving off to the shore. And I eventually get my hand on a big rock. I don't know where these big rocks came from on the banks of the Hackensack River. They're not natural there. Somebody must have dumped them back there years and years and years ago, long before I was on the scene. And I grabbed the rock, and I was able to pull myself up to the shore. But the guy Norman we were talking about, we're swimming in the Hackensack River, and the current grabs Norman, or he goes into the current one way or the other. And it's amazing how fast these currents are. Norman was taking off. And a group of us got in, jumped in the water, and we got to Norman. And fortunately, we did a lot of swimming back then, and we were all pretty much strong swimmers. And Norman was a strong swimmer too. Just they got caught in that current. It was just taking him out to the Hackensack River. Eventually that current would have eased up, and Norman probably would have been able to swim in. But it's your friend. Let's go get him. And we got him. We got him out of there, and no issue. But you think you're okay until that current grabs a hold of you. And this was in a river. I'm not even talking the ocean. This was the Hackensack River down at the foot of St. Paul's Avenue. That's how strong the currents were there. And supposedly with the Hackensack back in the 30s and 40s, I wasn't the first one swimming there. A lot of people were swimming in the Hackensack River in the old days, and there was a lot of drownings in there. Priests would come down there and do exorcisms there on the banks of the Hackensack River because of all the people that drowned there. In my lifetime, we only had one friend of mine, Raymond Turcott, Norman's brother. He drowned, but Ray was a bit of a daredevil, rest his soul. And he would jump off the bridge into the Hackensack River. Again, we all swim in the river. We were all swimmers back then. We were all strong swimmers. And Ray, who we call Junior, jumped off the bridge and landed on a boat. And hit the boat, was unconscious, into the water. And I found another friend of ours, Eddie Kinjinsky, found him 3-4 days later. And got the police, and that was it for Ray. That was somewhere around 75, 76, something like that. But a shame. But that was the only person in my lifetime that I knew that drowned there, and it wasn't, we jumped off a bridge and I hit the boat. But if you see the red flags, you're on the beach, pay attention. They're sticking up there just for decoration. Those currents, they will sweep you out real fast. All right, what's my next topic here? Climate. This one I seen this morning. Oh, let me talk a little Seaside Heights before we get into suing the fossil fuel industry for climate change. Well, again, we're here live on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights. Beautiful day. I got my sunscreen on. Hope I'm not burning up. Let's see how I refract. I had back in February, I was talking about getting my knees done. I want to get my knees done. I really want to get this done. And every time I want to get my D's done, something happens. Pandemics, flu, COVID-19, issues with the surgeon. And back in December, I got the flu. So Dr. Mayala, my doctor, he's treating me for the flu. I'm going to send you to get your x-rays, chest x-rays, that sort of thing. And, you're getting that operation. While we're there, I don't want me to look at a few other things. So we go to the chest x-rays, do all that. And we come back and it's all right, I want to get a CAT scan. Go get a CAT scan so we can get you set up for this knee surgery. So I go get a CAT scan. Then you get a phone call. We've got to talk about the CAT scan. Never good when I get a phone. Now they found an abnormality. So now I go and do a stress test, and we're going to do another test. And turns out I have a blockage in one of my arteries. Okay. So now we're going to put a stent in there. We go get the stent done. Doctors, I'm awake during it, so doctor goes, ooh. The last thing you want to hear is a guy say, your doctor, ooh. What's the problem there, buddy? It's pretty blocked. Turns out it was 95% one of the arteries, so they put the stent in there. Then I got the stent in there, and they got me on these blood thinners, which were killing me in the first place. I had a very bad reaction to these blood thinners and these baby aspirins, they call them. But I meant I was losing a lot of blood. Not 6 days after the surgery, they got me on these blood thinners and baby aspirins. I couldn't breathe. Amazing. Blood transports all the oxygen through your body. Well, my normal blood count was like 16 and a half. I was down to 4.2, and I got to the point I couldn't breathe anymore. I was dying. So they take me to the hospital, check me out. You're anemic. I'm not anemic. I'm losing all my blood. And I was talking to the doctor, say, you got to do something about my loss of blood here. My heart's not going to have anything to pump anymore. I was in the hospital like 7, 8 days, get my blood count back up to like 11 or so. Now it's back to normal, but I'm still on these blood thinners. And I'm like a banana. I bump into something, I bruise. I'm going to see how I react to the sun. But I got my sunscreen on. I got it on my legs, I got it on my face. It's pretty thick stuff, too. It's thicker than the stuff we used to work with. Now, anything else I want to say about Seaside before I get to climate change? Like I said, it's a nice day. It's starting to get a little busier around the boardwalk. People are looking at me saying, what's that big fat guy doing on the boardwalk there with a microphone? But I think we got everything working, so I think maybe next week. Well, tomorrow I won't be broadcasting here. They got an arts and crafts show on the stage here. I had this whole setup in my daughter's garage setup. And had I known that I wouldn't be up here tomorrow, I would have just done this thing from the garage instead of breaking down this set, loading it up in a car. And when you hear me tomorrow, I'll be in the garage doing this. But I'm looking at the boardwalk right now. It's a nice day. People are getting ready to go on a beach. Guy just walked by with his folding cart here with all sorts of beach paraphernalia, chairs and stuff like that. Got a little cooler. But I'm at it. When you're coming down, you should be coming down today, or at least tonight. Check exit82.com for all the events going on, especially going on a beach. There's so many new rules and regulations there. There's certain things you can bring on a beach, certain things you can't. Some of these coolers I don't believe are permissible anymore, at least the size of them. Beach umbrellas, they're getting pretty dangerous. People are getting impaled with those things now. So I know there's a lot of rules and regulations on that. So go to the town's website, exit82.com. I'm sure all the rules and regulations in there. And also, you can get a list of all the events that's going on here in Seaside Heights, all the lodging that's available. Like I said, you can come down here for a night. You can stay at one of the motels for like $85. Or for the weekend. Anything more than that, you want to get like an apartment rental. Really, you want an apartment. You want off-street parking also. Because like I said, during the season, Seaside Heights becomes the equivalent of Hoboken population-wise, and there are lots of cars. Anybody telling you, well, everybody's on bikes and they're taking mass transit, that is so BS. We are a car state. Jersey, we love cars. We like to get in our cars and go down a corner and get a newspaper. Yes, I still read newspapers. Jersey City, where I come from, my mayor, the mayor I don't see riding a bicycle. He's big on these bike lanes. There was a big outpour in the northern end, the southern end of Jersey City, down for MLK Drive. The mayor and his crack bicycle staff wanted to convert MLK and Ocean Avenue to one-ways and put in bike lanes and all this woke stuff. That didn't go over there. I mean, it got pretty contentious at one of these neighborhood meetings for Mayor Phillips' infrastructure team there. And I was leaving yesterday. I was covering the commissioners' meeting in Hudson County. and I'm coming down Summit Avenue by Five Corners. All you Jersey City people know where that is. The most ridiculous bike lane setup I've ever seen. It is so stupid, it's comical. I got to go back and take a picture of that, so when the City Show comes back in production after the hiatus, I want to show people just how friggin' stupid and comically stupid we get here in Jersey City. But it's the woke community here with the bikes. What I was talking about before, there's an effort in Trenton right now to sue the fossil fuel industry. I mean, it's bill number S3545. It is called the Climate Superfund Recovery. The idea here is the state of New Jersey wants to sue petroleum companies, Exxon, Mobil, BP, the Rockefellers, all that, for the climate issue. And they want to sue them for producing oil and gas and kerosene. Now, my question here is, where would this country be without oil, gas, and kerosene and natural gas? There would be no cars out there. There would be no industrial evolution here in the United States. There would be no economy. Everything that made this country what it is, right down to winning wars, came from fossil fuels. Now, if I'm going to sue the manufacturers or the refineries for oil, I guess we have to sue everybody who's ever used any oil. I'm buying gasoline, so I guess I'm as guilty as the people that are refining the oil into gasoline. And my other question here, if that is the reason for climate change, who do we blame for climate change like before 1920? Before the advent of the car. Before the car was the prominent. Back then it was still horse and buggies, the cars were just starting to come around. And we had climate. When you look at the greatest storms, the greatest hurricanes on record, most of them were like prior to 1950, 1940. We have had ice ages. We've had huge snowstorms back in the 40s and the 30s and the 20s and the 1800s, or really some bad ones in the 1800s. I don't think it's I'm not a climate change person. I think the Earth goes through its cycles. Like I said, we had ice ages before. And we'll have them again. That sort of thing. I think it goes through its cycles. Is fossil fuels contributing? I might be contributing, but is it the reason? Not the only reason. So I think what the government is doing is following what happened with the opioids, where they were suing the opioid manufacturers for overindulging, I guess, and doctors were overprescribing this, and the opioids got in the wrong hands. And I always question on, who should you be suing? The people who created the opioids or the ones that prescribed the opioids? But they went after the manufacturers. The manufacturers were, compliant. And said, okay, well, we have billions and billions in profits. We'll give you some money and shut you up. But going back to suing Exxon and Mobil and all the refinery companies and the people who are doing the drilling, if you're going to sue them, I guess you got to sue all of us, too, because we're using the product. Now, we're talking about climate change, and we've been talking about climate change for the last 20, 30 years. I'm still using the product. You're still using the product. We're all still using the product that we're claiming is causing the climate change. So I'm as guilty as Exxon and Mobil. Well, you're as guilty as Exxon and Mobil. And even if you're driving an electric car, you're as guilty because that electric car was manufactured by energy generated by fossil fuels, unless you had a nuclear plant out there. And even the nuclear plant, all the equipment that built it was generated by fossil fuels. So I think it's frivolous. And I don't think the oil companies are going to be as complicit with the governments as the drug companies were. But, like I said, am I using electricity? I guess I'm complicit. I guess I'm in violation. I'm as guilty as Exxon is, or Mobil, because I'm using this stuff. And I know full well it might be part of the climate change. Well, not me, because, again, like I said, I'm not a climate change person. But they're pushing this through. We'll see how this happens. But what we need to embrace, and I said before, we need to embrace energy generation. Or you're going to say, like I said before, you got the electric bills that went up. Well, we're going to go up again next year unless we get in front of this and start generating energy. We didn't have this problem 10 years ago until this woke idea came up that we got to embrace the solar and the electric. It just doesn't work. It may not. It could contribute, but it can't be our main reliance. Yeah, it could contribute 10-20%, fine, but the main reliance, we have to generate energy, and a lot of that's probably going to come from fossil fuels. So I don't know who we're suing here. New York City. I was watching Eric Adams, the mayor. Boy, that's going to be reelected there. I'll get into that later too. That's an interesting election there. It's going to be really telling for the Democratic Party. He's talking about involuntary treatment for mentally ill people on the streets of New York. It's way too much of this happening now, especially in New York City. Well, it's happening, just not in New York City. It's happening in all the cities where mentally ill people are out on the street. And for whatever reason, they're committing these crimes in New York City. Just randomly stabbing people or pushing them in front of subways. These people are on the streets. I know in D.C., President Trump has taken over law enforcement in D.C., and he's fighting crime, and he's going to get the homeless off the streets. Well, a lot of these homeless have mental issues, and just to leave them on the street is a danger to them and a danger to everybody else. But your mom or your daughter is walking by them, you don't know what's going to happen because they're just unpredictable. They're mentally challenged. So something has to be addressed there. Years ago, back, the old days, they went to a mental institution. Yeah, I know it sounds horrible, but it doesn't sound as horrible as when your daughter's walking by some of these people who might be sitting on a sidewalk or on a bench and they start hacking your daughter with a knife. Then it's not so horrible. That's what we need to protect against. I know we all want to do the right thing. We all have civil rights, and everybody, they have civil rights, and we have civil rights. But there's a question of danger. And you don't want anybody stabbing or assaulting your mother, your daughter, your son, your wife. So that has to be addressed, and we just can't keep saying, well, he was off his meds. That's a problem. So what Eric Adams is talking about, they're going to get these people off the street. And I know there's people who go, oh, no, it's the wrong thing to do. It's not the wrong thing to do. If there's potential for danger and these people are mentally challenged or could be all strung out on drugs also, you don't know what they're going to do. And all of them apparently have some sort of a rap sheet there. And nowadays, no matter how heinous a crime is, we just let you go back on the streets anyway. And you can commit more heinous crimes then until you do something so heinous that even the bleeding hearts say, well, that guy should have been in jail. He should have been in jail 4 or 5 arrests ago. These are the things that need to be addressed. We have to start making our community safer. And I have all the sympathy in the world for the people who have these mental conditions or even drug dependencies. But you just can't be sitting there and committing crimes or assaulting people because you're high or mentally challenged. And we're going to say, well, we're going to do, you got a mental problem, wasn't on his drugs. But that kid's dead because of that person. We cannot permit that to go on. So that has to be addressed. You just can't have a dangerous situation sitting on a park bench somewhere waiting for your mother or your daughter to walk by and become a victim. So I applaud what Eric Adams is doing. I don't think he's going to be the mayor come January. That's interesting. You got the Mandani guy who I can't see how any city, town, borough in this nation would elect a socialist in the United States of America. Now you got a Democratic socialist running in New Jersey City in Ward B. I just don't see how we elect people like this. It is against the fiber of our country. We're a capitalistic society. In the United States, I think I said this the other day, you could be anything you want. I guess within reason, you can't be Beyonce unless you can sing and dance. Yeah, you're not going to be, Aaron Judge unless you can swing a bat like him. But if you want to become a doctor, an attorney, a scientist, an accountant, I don't know who would want to become an accountant. It seems like one of the most boring jobs in the world. A chef, you can achieve all that if you apply yourself. And that's the great thing about this country, if you apply yourself. And you don't give me crap about the public schools. I got 2 daughters that came from the public schools. One's a PhD. I don't know how many other degrees the other one had, like 3 or 4. Came right through the Jersey City school system. PS 27. Then one went to McNair. The other one went to High Tech. Both went to Ramapo. One went on to Rutgers, got the master's, and then went back to Rutgers again, got the PhD. But they're all products of the Jersey City public school system. It is a good school system. The teachers we have are fine. There's a lot of other issues with our public school systems, but I think that happens all over. In Jersey City, we need to figure out why it costs so much friggin' money to run a school system. We have over $1 billion budget, which is going up. Imagine that, $1 billion. My grammar school that I went to cost I think it was $54 or $58 million a year to run. How is it possible? You know, I'm down here near Tom's River right now, and it cost, I think it was $17,000 or $18,000 to educate a student in Tom's River, where in Jersey City it was $36,000. And that's the biggest part of your property taxes is the schools. In some of these cases, some of these towns, it is predominant, like 80% of the tax bill. There's an issue here why it is so expensive in one section to the other. As far as teacher salaries, they should all be pretty much the same no matter what part of the state you're in. Then once we get, like I said before, I take the teacher salaries right off the table. Not negotiable. Everything else we need to look at. I got to understand why it costs so much in Jersey City and half as much in Tom's River. We shouldn't have a school funding problem, but we do. And one of the problems is Jersey City is twice as much as Tom's River, and we have to pay for that. The state has to pay, or taxes pay for that. And there's a problem with the dividing up of the monies to the various school districts. You know, in Hudson County got here. Union City receives more for a school than Jersey City. And Jersey City is like 10 times the size of Union City. That shouldn't be possible, but it is. And it goes on. You got Abbott districts. You got like North Bergen, where my studio is. Across the way, they got an Abbott district. You know, they're getting tons of money, where the North Bergen, they're struggling to fund the schools. That shouldn't be. And that's happening all over the state. We've had Neptune, New Jersey, raise their school taxes 25%. How do you feel like opening that tax bill? Because of how the funding they're getting. Somebody has to just sit down, and whether it's Mikey Sherrill or Citarelli, something of that nature, one of them, and to say, we got to start from scratch here. And one of the first things I'm doing in school budgets, I'm getting rid of all the school districts. I don't need 565 school districts, and I'm not kidding you. That's how many we got. I got 21 counties. I can go with 21 school districts and get rid of all these employees, all these benefits, all these vacations, all these pensions, all this bureaucracy, all those salaries. Out. That has to stop right off. That's got to be funded. And then we start looking at all the expenses there. And every school district and every school's got to be looked at alike. There shouldn't be a difference in the course in Jersey City to Tom's River to Neptune to Cape May. They should all be the same. The biggest expense you have in business is your rent, insurance, and salaries. The schools don't have rent. They're government owned. They got the salaries and insurances. That's got to become a question on, maybe the state should just get into the insurance business themselves, because we have so many state employees in the school, the state benefits, plus all the municipals and the county, you know, and these insurance companies are making billions in profit, and we just jacked up the municipal portion of the benefits on the employees 30%. Shouldn't be. Now when the insurance companies are making a buku billions. Listen, I don't begrudge them making billions, but let's be fair about this. The insurance companies, they got some explaining to do, Lucy, where I got doctors giving up their practices and joining the mega firms, the RWJ Barnabas or Hackensack Meridians, because they can't afford to be in business for themselves anymore. I have hospitals that were going bankrupt, would have had to merge up with these big chains because they couldn't sustain themselves anymore. We just had a situation in Jersey City with CarePoint where they did go bankrupt. And now they've been rescued by Hackensack Regional Health, Jan Moshe and his gang. They took over Christ Hospital, Bayonne Hospital, and Hoboken Hospital, and they're going to make a run at it. They shouldn't be losing money. The insurance companies are making tons of money but the hospitals aren't. I got doctors that are having a hard time. Think about that. We got doctors having a hard time. Something's wrong here, and that has to be recalibrated. Again, I'm not against anybody making millions and making big profits. You went out, you started the company, you took all the risk. That's fine. Make it. But it all has to work within the system. And the problem is that system's not working too well when I got hospitals failing and insurance companies making good money. That's an issue. I don't even know that was on my topic here. Probably should take a break for commercial, right? Yeah, probably. Listen, you're listening to the Shore Show here. I'm Pat O'Melia. This is the Shore Show Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. Pat O'Melia here. Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition here on the boardwalk. Tell you what, the sun is so good today that I can't see any of my gauges on my mixer or my computer. I can barely read my cell phone. So what we're going to work on this week, we're going to work on some sort of covers that I can put over the laptop and the mixer here so I can see the buttons. You know, we have color-coded buttons here for commercials and everything here, the color-coded button. But the sun is just washing them out. So I'm going to figure out something we can build with the gator boards we have in our studio. And some good Gorilla Glue. We just drop right over the top of them, kind of like a hood, and I'll be able to see what the hell I'm doing here. But I'm actually broadcasting blind. Doing the best I can. If there's any mistakes, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can here. What is my next note here? Let's see. I can hardly read my phone either. It's very, very difficult here. Very difficult. Tom's River Armory. You know what the Tom's River Armory is? Armory? That's a gun store here on Route 37 and Clinton Avenue, right here in Tom's River. My buddies, they own CNC Auto Repair. They do my cars. I got those guys in Tom's River when I'm down here in Seaside if I need something done. Chris and Pat work on my cars. And when I'm up in North Bergen, I got Juan at Juan's Auto Repairs. He does the work when I'm up that way. But they're also in the gun business. If you are a gun enthusiast and you want some knowledgeable people and you're in the Tom's River area, actually you can travel to get the gun down here. You go visit Chris and Pat, and the gun store is right in front of CNC. So, they should make that as a package deal. Go get an oil change and do a little shopping on a gun. For that matter, we got to bring my guys in there. We should probably do a little video recording in there, put a little commercial together for Chris and Pat. If I can help them, more than happy to do that. Both good kids. Good repairs, too. Always take care of my car. Pat's a bit of gloom and doom. Chris isn't too bad. But, no matter what the repair, these guys are good. Pat always leave you with that, we fixed this, but, it's an Audi you have, and Audi's a terrible car. I hate working on Audis or Volkswagen. You bring a car in there with Pat and say, it's making a noise. Oh, that's because it's probably going to blow up. But he's probably one of the best mechanics I've ever worked with. Chris and Pat work on a car. You get the car back, it is fine. The only problem I have with them sons, they put my car under that tree, and I get all this freaking sap on my car. They should go wash my car before they give it back to me. But if you're looking to buy a gun, Tom's River Armory, right there on Clinton and Route 37, right by Tommy V's. Everybody sees Tommy V's, who's not in the gas business anymore. I got to ask him what happened there. I think I was told, I think Chris and Pat were telling me, they wanted to upgrade the fuel tanks there, and he just didn't have the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we told him, take the tanks out. I'll just do auto repair. And he works on a lot of old cars. He's got a couple of, I think a couple of 32 Fords in there right now. He's got a couple of late 70s, 80s El Caminos. Got a kid's got a 53 Pontiac over there. I seen it somewhere in Seaside Heights, a few blocks away from my kid's house. So they must have the car over there for some sort of repair. But getting back, if you're looking to purchase a gun, I would certainly go see those guys. Route 37 and Clinton Avenue, Tom's River Armory. Now, we're talking about Seaside Heights, where we are today on the boardwalk. A little breeze coming in. If that sun was a little further over to the west, I'd be able to read this laptop or my mixer here so I could see if I'm broadcasting out. I'm being told I am. I was just told that it might have been missed a commercial or two, but we'll deal with that. One of the big holidays here in Seaside Heights is Columbus Day. They have big Columbus Day festival, and that's, of course, the Friday before Columbus Day. This all kicks off, and it starts right on the boardwalk here on Grant Avenue, and it goes all the way down, I think all the way down to Central. Yeah, it goes all the way to Central, and they got the bands, they got the Italian dances, they got the food, they got the stands. It's right in front of the church. Our Lady of Perpetual Help there, or Our Lady of Perpetual Request. I got to get Father Michael. If everything, when we check this recording out next week, if everything goes well, I'll start bringing a guest on. I'd like to bring Father Michael on. Guys, he really does a good job running the church, but he's always got some, I'll call it a scheme how he's going to try to get more money into the church. But the whole festival is set up in front of the church, and they really do it right here. It starts, I guess, around noontime, and it goes on to about midnight. Maybe we'll broadcast this year from there. I just got to find our Wi-Fi hotspot. I'm starting to think, my guy Garrett, he's telling me he gave it to me in the garage. My wife's saying I wanted to charge it, so I took it back to the studio. It might be in my van, so I get Garrett to go check the van and see if it's there. We need the Wi-Fi hotspot for us to broadcast anywhere. Today, what I did here on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights, I had Optimum wire it for broadband, and only I can use it. My router, my passwords. So the town's not hooking up unless they want to hook up some money my way. But we got it set up here. So I got the router behind me, which I had to figure out how to hook all this thing up this morning. Brought my bungee cords. This thing's pretty light, this router. It weighs like 0 ounces. And just the slightest breeze was knocking it over. But I'm a bungee cord guy. So as I'm looking at all the stuff I'm bringing, I said, if it's windy up there, maybe I'll bungee down some of my equipment. So I got my jar of bungee cords with me. Now, all I needed to do was bungee up my router so it wouldn't blow away over here. I do want to bring some sandbags up for this table. So it's not too bad. A little breeze here today, but I've been up here with the Shore Show when we were doing the videotaping, where that breeze was pretty strong. I wouldn't mind a little stronger right now. Audio-wise, you don't want that, but it gets, you can pick it right up. Let's see, we got the Columbus Day. So you got the Columbus Day Festival. Ideally, what you want to do, and you know what's good about that? Everything's still open on the boardwalk, too. All the stands are open. All the restaurants are open. Just the kids are all gone. They're all back in school. For that matter, if you're planning a vacation, the best time to do it at the end of August and September, if you still have vacation time left, because all the kids are back in school, everything is still open, and it's less crowded, and it's not as hot as hell. Now, I think next week the weather's going to be really nice. But, we just had a lot of 90-degree, 100-degree days, high humidity. Air quality was shaky. Air quality is pretty good today. Ideally, you want to come down in August, September. But Columbus Day, like we'll set up the Airbnb rental my kids have. But let me put that out here. I got it here somewhere. I got that number out here. I have to dig it out of here. Airbnb. Well, you want to find my kids' rental? Just put in you want to rent 2 adults and say you have 2 pets. And I guess the first option is Seaside Heights on Airbnb. You'll see a picnic table. You'll see a big blue house. That's the kids' house there. But we're like we're dog and cat people. So Gina and Evelyn were like, we're going to let pets in there. So if you're looking to bring a pet with you, we're the house for you. Plus, we got a big fenced-in yard there so the dog can run around. But ideally, come down that Friday night, Friday afternoon, get yourself all settled in. Go over to the beginning of the festival. You get the food, you got the stands, you got the sellers, the retail people are selling things. My mother-in-law, she used to love going to that festival and buying stuff at the stands, listening to the music. And they really do a good job. So if you're wondering what to do on Columbus Day, ideally, take a ride down to Seaside Heights, come down Friday night. You can leave Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on what your employment situation is, and you will have a good time. But I'm at years and years. I've been coming down to Seaside Heights with the Shore Show since 2009. We'd have our cameras all set up on the stage here, and people would think we're Snooki and the gang. No Snooki, but now we'd start screwing with them too. Yeah, Snooki's coming back. Yeah, come back in a half hour. They'll all come back again. I think it's Snooki was going to show up. It was a good days. But what we used to do, we used to stay at the Aztec Hotel. And no matter where I would stay on that Columbus Day weekend, they would bring in these Italian dancers from Italy. And without fail, they would be in the apartment above me, the rooms above me in the Aztec. And they practiced a lot. They'd be dancing around up there. Yeah, they were banging on the freaking floor. We all were dancing up there. And it was like, without fail, they would be in the room above us. And they'd be practicing. But when you're seeing them, you can see why they practiced and why they were so good. They practiced so often. That's why they were so good. But if you're coming down on Columbus Day, make it a point. Even if you don't come down for the weekend, just come down for a day or so and just enjoy the festival, enjoy the food, enjoy the music, enjoy the stands, enjoy the unique retail options. It's all available down here in Seaside. Seaside just fits in everybody. But it's not a town without problems. There's their ambulance squad, Tri-Borough Ambulance. There's some good, Trenton just can't help but screw things up. If it works, Trenton will find a way to screw it up. They've capped the donations from municipalities to not-for-profits. In this case, the EMS group at Tri-Borough EMS. And because of this, why did he do this in Trenton? Now they don't have enough money to operate, so they got to come up with some more funding. I'm going to sit down with Mayor Vaz and Chris Vaz, the BA, and see what we can do to help out there. But those are the guys, when I had the situation with the blood drop down, when my blood count was at 4.2, they're the ones, I was down here in Seaside. They're the ones that took me to Community Medical Center in RWJ Hospital, where, I guess they saved me. I was in pretty bad shape. And they started pumping some blood into me immediately. I want to make sure I can do all I can. We have these television and radio options here to fundraise whatever these guys need from me. We'll make it happen. They're a good organization, but again, Seaside Heights would contribute tremendously to their budget. Now they can't because some stupidity in Trenton capping the amount of a municipality could give to a not-for-profit. You want the town to have its own EMS? That costs a lot of money. So what you want to do is have you want it separate from the municipality. And these guys do a great job. I know Ken Roberts, he's the code enforcement down there. He's part of it. Volunteer fire department. Yeah, they're all. Everybody I know with Tri-Borough is in good shape. Like Tom's River, Dan Roderick, who I'd like to get in here. I have to like Dan Roderick. The problem with Dan Roderick is the mayor of Tom's River. Dan shouldn't be allowed to talk. His ideas are good. Just he has zero bedside manner. He just has no people skills. He needs buffers. He needs a lot of buffers when he's dealing with the public or the council people. Dan, he wanted to get into the EMS business. I guess it makes sense. You can have some of your own and then have the volunteer groups. But he kind of wiped out the Silverton EMS by pulling all the resources out of there. So there's possibly something, the Triborough here in Seaside Heights and maybe Silverton we can do together. But what happened with Dan, he wanted to get into the EMS. I don't know if it was political or if it was a case where he felt they definitely could do it better. All I know is what I see in the ring communities. I don't think he's doing it better right now. See, when you launch these things, you should run parallel. If you want to get into EMS business, you want to do life-saving, be a first responder kind of thing, you should run that parallel with the organization that's present right now. And then maybe you can absorb them. You can find out what it is. You just don't want to start cold and dump this one and you start cold because you're going to run into problems. You run that parallel, and that's one of the things Dan didn't do. It's one of the, I fault Dan on that, and the eminent domain attempt on a church that didn't work out. That was the third rail for him. But most of his ideas make sense to me. And one of the things Dan Roderick in Tom's River is saying he wants to hire police officers. He wants to make Tom's River safer for you, for everybody. And Tom's River, they require that you have a college degree. Why? Now, if you want to go up the ladder in the police department, I guess having a college degree would come in handy. You know, having a college degree in philosophy, I don't see how that helps in being in the police department, but that would be accepted. Dan's willing to accept a high school diploma and military experience, and there's everybody, you know, the antis are like, oh, no, we're the dumbest cops in the world. No, not everybody needs to go to college anymore. Also, it's freaking expensive to go to college. Like I said before, you can be everything you want in this country, but there might be a price tag attached to it also. You know, those college funds are expensive. Unless you can get a free ride, which we managed to have the kids that we had in my my program this year. Well, the beginning of the program, I think we got like 5 or 6 scholarships. So the kids do really well, and that's a big help. I tell you. You think the kids are excited about getting a scholarship? You see mom and dad doing the happy dance when you get a full scholarship. But you don't need a college degree to be a cop. Now, like I said, you want to make it a detective and work your way up the ladder. That probably come in handy. But you want to get a college degree that has something to do with law enforcement. Yeah, like I said, the media arts may not help you in law enforcement, put it that way. But I usually agree with what Dan's doing. For the most part, I'll say I agree with about 80% of what Dan Roderick has done at Tom's River. But getting back to the Triborough, we got to somehow figure out how we can save this group. I want to talk to the people at RWJ Barnabas and see if they can come across with some serious money, because when the Triborough pick up the people requiring medical assistance, they're bringing them to an RWJ Barnabas facility. So I'm sure we can get some money out of RWJ. But these are the kind of things I get involved in. I try to help. If I can help, I will, and I'll use our radio and TV to help as best as we can. Now, again, let me go back to Seaside Heights, exit82.com. If you want to know what's going on in Seaside Heights, you want to know what events are going on this summer, like tomorrow, there's arts and crafts on this very stage. I wouldn't be here today if they had told me that, because I wouldn't have broke down this set. But the arts and crafts here, they had a concert yesterday on the beach. That was free. You got the fireworks every Wednesday here in Seaside Heights. There's always something going on in Seaside Heights, especially on the weekends. Mike Grayson and Chris Voss, they bring in these bands, cover bands come in. They got the Broadway on the boardwalk. There's always something going on, and I think 90% of us are bringing in some real big names on the boardwalk, on the beach. All of it is free. The Beachcomber always has entertainment, very loud entertainment in the Beachcomber. That there's always something going on in Seaside Heights. There's barbecues up by the shore, by the beach, that sort of thing. But go to exit82.com. You'll see all the events that are scheduled here for Seaside Heights. And like I said, when you're here, you don't have to be nailed down to this boardwalk. Pun intended. Boardwalk, nailed. There's many things you can do. You get out on the road here. You go into Manaloke and just look at the interesting architecture of the buildings there. You got Lavalette. You got a bunch of places to eat and great bakeries in Lavalette and Ortley. You got out on Route 37, like I said before. You got the planetarium there. You got the big cinema. You could catch a Jersey Blue Claws baseball game, minor league. There's lots to do here. I'm a movie guy, so I like to go to the movies a lot. But I don't like paying the money I paid at the last one. That should, maybe just get in touch with the Regal people. I'm not going to listen to one guy, even though I got the one guy is on TV and radio. But I was saying before, that was pretty expensive. $20 a ticket, and I wound up paying like $46, $49 for the popcorn and the sodas. But there's so much you can do. Again, you want to enjoy the boardwalk, you want to enjoy the beach, but sometimes you want a reprieve too. And get in your car, especially if you've come down here and you got off-street parking, so you don't have to worry about parking. Or if you're staying like the Aztec or the Sand and Surf here by the boardwalk, you got the parking lots, their own parking lots, so you're going to have a parking space. It's problematic if you're staying someplace without parking. But like my kids' rental, let me just get that way I'm rattling around here. But my problem is I can't see anything. I know I got these things in here somewhere. I'll get it for tomorrow. There's the account number on Airbnb. But the kids, you have off-street parking at their Airbnb rental. Even if I found it, I couldn't read it. The sun is so bright here on my phone. But when you're coming down, this is what you want to do. I'm talking about Tom's River. Yesterday, I'm getting down here. I'm at the light, and there's this dry well drilling company on 37 and Fisher Boulevard. And they took shoe polish, white shoe polish, and they wrote on the windows, Tom's River Township cost us $100,000. That's why this building looks the way it does. And I'm like, how the hell did they cost $100,000? I wrote the phone number down. I'm going to call them today, and I'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. I don't know what Tom's River did there. That's the case where I had to get in touch with Dan Roderick and see if I could help these guys. There used to be a used car dealership there and an engine rebuilder. And the guy who was doing the engines really did a good job. And unfortunately, they sold the building. The guy lost his place there. But I'll find out tomorrow. That'll be part of tomorrow's show. I got FedEx. FedEx is the absolute worst delivery company. It is nowhere near as good as UPS or Amazon. Last week, I was nailed down in the house waiting for a camera. I'm updating the cameras in the studio, and I'm waiting for the camera. They're telling me Saturday, I think it was Friday. It's going to be there. It'll be there by 6:40. Yeah, you got to sign it because it's a very expensive camera. Wait all day. They don't deliver the camera. Then the next day, they didn't deliver. Then you get another notice Sunday. They're going to deliver it on Monday now. So now you got to hang around all day Monday. So they finally did pop up around 5 o'clock on Monday rather, with my camera. What we're doing, it's exciting to me to get new cameras in the studio. This first new cameras we've gotten in about 10 years, and we're going from XF Canon. I'm all Canon. I've been standing on Canon since we opened the studio. And the reason was, the Canon, they're really good cameras, very strong. You can kick them around on the floor, and you won't break them. They had their repair center down on Exit 7 on the Turnpike. So if you had a problem with your cameras, you can drive them down to Exit 7, and you can kind of like beg and cry at the counter if they would fix it for you immediately. But lo and behold, they relocated to Lyndhurst. And I'm going to have to call you back, Juan. That's my daughter's car. They relocated to Lyndhurst, which is even closer to my North Bergen facility, so I could just bring my camera over and get them repaired. Now, we bought another camera from B&H. Today is what? Wednesday, and they delivered it yesterday, and of course it's got to be FedEx. But I tell you, the first camera we got from eBay, they handled that a lot differently with B&H. They must realize when we screw around with B&H, we'll lose a big contract. So we got I only got 4 new cameras, but I'm trying to get the best possible. These cameras are expensive. Trying to get the best possible deal. But, the many things we do in the studio during hiatus, we always try to upgrade the studio, new equipment, new drops, new setups, new audio. And this year we're doing the cameras. And, we'll probably spend around $16,000, $20,000 all total for these new cameras. And they'll last me, hopefully another, I got 10 years out of the first one. And we're still going to use those. Those cameras still working well. Once we get all the new cameras in, I'll bring the older cameras over to Lyndhurst and get them serviced. And what we're doing, we're putting together a control van for the high school program and the college kids. So when we're out on location, this van, Ford Transit Connect, the kids will be able to call baseball games, whatever high school sports or events are going on, and we'll set it up that it'll be capable of radio and TV broadcasts. And those cameras, when the kids are going out, we're setting up an entire storage section where all the audio and radio equipment, television equipment, and radio equipment will be there. So if the kids are going out to do a shoot, we need to grab 3 cameras. Boom, get the 3 cameras, grab the batteries. You need set mics. We're getting shelving coming in today just for mic storage. But the exciting thing to me is cameras. And just looking at the one that came in yesterday, it was like, man, it was like Christmas morning for me looking at this. And I get another 2 of these. It'll be like a couple of more Christmas mornings for me. So right now, let me break for commercial. I'll call Juan's Auto Repair in North Bergen to find out what's going on with my daughter's Jimmy. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just 1 pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. Pat O'Melia here, live on the boardwalk at Seaside Heights at the Franklin Street stage. Boardwalk is starting to pick up a little bit. More and more people are coming down, and you should be here. You get in your car right now. Don't play the radio. I just found out my daughter's battery was draining. It turns out it's the radio that's draining her battery, so she needs a new radio. But it turns out Juan at Juan Auto Repair on Patterson Plank Road in North Bergen does install radios. So I'll let Gina make a decision what she wants to do there. Take a ride down. Got a lot of day left. You live in Jersey City, traffic light. You could be down here in about an hour, 15 minutes. If you leave later in the day around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's going to take you a little longer to get all the traffic. You get down here, sit on the beach. I think I'm seeing red flags going up. So you might not be going swimming down here, but you're going to enjoy the beach. Got a lot of wind. Well, you got a couple of hurricanes out there right now. I think it's Erin, is it? I think there's a hurricane right now in the Atlantic. It's Erin, so that's breaking, pushing up the water here and the waves and the rip currents. So pay attention to the flags. and salute them. Red flag, pay attention to it there. Don't go in the water. Enjoy the beach, but you get up here on the boardwalk, go down to Beachcomber, like I said, get a nice huge slice of pizza, $5, and get yourself a Diet Coke, and get the fried calamari like I did last night. You can enjoy that. You got the House of Fries. They actually got a place here now, a Sabrett hot dog. Yeah, Dirty Water Dogs for the same price that the guy in Jersey City on Bowers and Central, $2.50 at Dirty Water Dog, $2.50 here. That guy in Jersey City is making real good profit because he's not paying the price these guys are paying for that kiosk in the middle of the boardwalk. Also, another thing on the boardwalk down here on the northern end is they got a Mr. Softy stand. And it's not a truck; they actually a stand in there. I think it would just pull a truck up on the boardwalk instead of renting a stand. But you got a nice Mr. Softy. I happen to like Mr. Softy. As a kid, used to enjoy having that song playing and go up to the truck, get a nice banana boat. I was never into the cones. I was always Sundays or the banana boat. If you look at me, you can realize I was a banana boat guy. I like the banana boat. Like I said before, I like the ice cream. I see Lucky Leo's Sweet Shop is now open. People are coming out with cups or something. It's probably some like smoothie deal or something like that. That's not candy. That's some sort of a drink. It might be a coffee or something like that. What is that? Bubble tea. Is that what bubble tea looks like? I don't know what bubble tea is. It's I see a sign for it. Bubble tea. Espresso, coffee, and tea. All right. I'm not sure what bubble tea is. I probably will never find out, but that's okay. Old-time photos are open. Hey, I'm looking at Big Hearted John is now open. It don't look like Monty's open yet, or at least he didn't pull that gate up. Everybody else seems to be open. The Beachcomber is open. Coors is open. Lucky Leo's stand is open. Looking behind me. Yeah, it looks like everything's open now on the boardwalk, with the exception of Monty's over there. But Monty's probably, what time are we at? We're coming up on lunchtime, I guess. I'm here till 12. Yeah, it's so bright here, you can't see anything. But again, Seaside Heights, take a ride down today, or you come down tonight, stay the weekend. You got the motels are like $85 a night. If you're going to do anything longer than that, you want to get an Airbnb rental. You got my daughters. You can rent that. I think it's $180 a night, but it's an honest apartment. 2 bathrooms, 2 showers, kitchen, diners, living room, bedroom, TVs, all the streaming stations. Mondani in New York. I know we touched on it before. I don't know how any city or town or borough can vote for a socialist, but it certainly looks like that's going to happen. And is this the direction of the Democratic Party? Now, again, I'm in Republican land down here in Ocean County, but I'm normally up in the world of Democrats in Hudson County. If this is the direction for the Democrats, socialism, they're never going to come back. That is not going to work in the United States. We are that capitalistic society. It's what made us the greatest country in the history of this planet. And it's not socialism. That should show me wherever that works. It doesn't work anywhere. It only works until you run out of other people's money. And this Mandani guy, he knows how to work money. He's got money. He's also got a rent-controlled apartment for $2,300 a month. Between the candidates there, Cuomo was the ex-governor of New York. Mandani, I wouldn't vote for Mandani. I'd leave it. I'd vote for a cat before I voted for Mandani. There's no way I'm voting for a socialist. Cuomo, I never liked how he handled the COVID with the ventilators. We need ventilators. Didn't use any of the ventilators. Then he wanted the medical ship. Trump put the medical ship there, didn't use the medical ship. I don't like how he handled. And also he got jammed up with a few other things. Eric Adams, I think he tries. I think he just got caught up in some bad hires that he had, and he's going to pay the price for that. And Curtis Sliwa, sorry, Curtis, man, you didn't stay with your word. We had Curtis on my show. We were doing a weekly show at the Lowe's Theater in Girdle Square, and Jersey City was going through a crime problem, and Curtis came over with their guardian angels. He was going to take care of crime. He was going to rid Jersey City of crime with the guardian angels. And he guested on my show, the weekly show, on the stage in Lowe's Theater. And at the time, the guest on that show was then Councilman Stephen Fulop, who is now the mayor. And he's going back and forth about Jerry Healy, who's knocking the mayor of Jersey City at that time, Jerry Healy, and now Jersey City's ass backwards, that sort of thing. And crime is rampant. And he would take care of crime. In 6 months, he would have the guardian angels in full force here fighting crime. And I told him that was not going to happen in Jersey City. We're just not going to join the guardian angels. It's not going to work out. And he's telling me, I said, listen, we'll give you 6 months. and we'll see what happens. You come back, and I'll be able to tell you I told you so. Well, 6 months come and go, and sure enough, the Guardian Angels did not take hold here in Jersey City, which I knew that was never going to happen. So I reached out for Sliwa, and guess what? He wouldn't come over. He would not come back. He wouldn't give me the right that I claimed that I would tell him that I told you so. This would not work here. So the guy didn't keep his word, and a fellow radio guy like myself, I can't vote for him. I wouldn't support him. So I think I'd stick with Eric Adams, but I think he's polling at 7. And I really, Jersey polls you can't trust at all anymore. But when you're polling at 7, I don't think you got a shot at this. And I tell you, yeah, you look at what's going on in Chicago, where you kind of have a socialist mayor there. This is what's going to happen in New York. New York has got a lot of problems going on right now coming out of the pandemic. You got crime is, they keep saying crime numbers are down. People fudge these numbers all the time. Crime numbers are not down. You know, I know what I read. I know what I see on the television. Crime is not down. The same thing like in D.C. what Trump's doing there. Yeah, it's amazing how people are complaining about Trump is trying to fight crime. Democrats in D.C. How the hell can you justify saying, oh, we don't want to fight crime. We don't want to rid the streets of murderers and guns. Yeah, that's where the Democrats are. And like I said, I'm in North Bergen in Hudson County with the Dems. I know a lot of these guys. This is not how they feel. You know, they'll take any help possible to make their streets safer. If you want to help us, you want to fortify our police forces, they would be right there with that. But the D.C. and the national Democrats, they were all complaining about Trump fighting crime. Well, don't fight the crime. You know, do me a favor, come into the other cities. You know, New York City, look what the hell's going on here. It's like a daily thing where people are getting stabbed, shot, pushed in front of trains. Yeah, get all the help you can. It's a real problem here with the Dems. They've really lost their way. And again, you know, I'm in Dem Central there in Hudson County. It's astonishing what's happening there. But we'll find out soon enough. You know, I got Election Day coming up here in New Jersey with Mikey Sherrill and Citarelli. And you got all the assembly seats up. If you like how New Jersey is going right now, send all these guys back to Trenton, all these guys and gals. If you don't, then you have to make some educated votes. You have to be informed. You get the government you vote for. If you like how it's going, vote for these people. Send them back again. If you're like everybody else and you have a lot of concerns, you want to sit and look at each one of these votes and make sure you're making the best possible decision. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You'll listen to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. Pat O'Melia here. Making sure I got levels for what I can't see really anything, but I can see something moving on the screen there. So I got levels. I got about 8 minutes left to show. What else do I want to talk about? Well, again, Seaside Heights is the reason I'm here. Beach looks good. A lot of people on the beach. I wouldn't be going to water right now. I see red flags up, so that means you got some rip currents probably occurring down there. Again, you can get down here right now without traffic from Jersey City within about an hour, 15 minutes or so. So I'd get in your car right now. I said, let's take a ride down. And remember, Seaside Heights fits in any budget. If you're going to stay the night, stay the weekend, stay for a week, you can find the accommodation that you can afford. You can get the right kind of food. Like I said, the beachcomber, slice of pizza, and slice of pizza, like 2 slices of pizza, $5, which is pretty much the going course in Jersey City. Like I mentioned before, with the Sabret hot dogs, $2.50 on the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights. It's $2.50 on Bauer Street and Central Avenue. So there are ways to stretch that budget. And like I said, you have your sausage and peppers and your cheesesteaks. So, you may want to go out and sit down at the Fortune Buffet there on St. Catherine's Boulevard. $16 all you can eat. I think you pay $3 for the soda, and after that, all the sodas you want, free. You got the movie theater there. You got the Wendy's. You got McDonald's. You got Burger King. You got all the White Castles out there. On Fisher Boulevard, you got Four Seasons. On 37, you got the Bandbox. There's a lot of places to eat, reasonably priced. So you can stretch your budget down here in Seaside Heights. And like I said before, you got the planetarium down here. You got the Jersey Blue Cross. You got the big cinema. So even if it's raining, you can go to the movies, enjoy a movie. Then you go over to the Fortune Buffet. Got an ice cream, frozen yogurt. I got to try the frozen yogurt place. I haven't tried that yet in that little mall there where the theater and the Fortune Buffet is. But come down here to Seaside Heights. Again, go to exit82.com. You'll see everything that's going on in Seaside Heights. There's always something on the weekends going on, and everything that will fit in your budget. Most of everything that's going on in Seaside Heights is free, so you come down here and enjoy it. You're talking about crime. I assume you've seen the guy in D.C. that threw a Subway sandwich at an ICE officer, then tried to run away. And he just got the sandwich. It was all wrapped up. How aggravated do you want to be? But this guy trying to do his job. And that's all these ICE officers are doing. They're not going rogue or anything like that. They're enforcing the laws that are on the books. And they're locking these people up who aren't here legally. And this guy, it turns out the guy works for the Department of Justice, throws a Subway sandwich at the ICE officer and tries to run away. They nab the guy. And Janine Pirro, who I think is she the Attorney General for D.C.? I think that's what her job is. She is going to fry this guy. She's already said that. She's going to fry this guy. Of course, he's been fired from the Department of Justice. Now, what the hell are you thinking? First off, you just bought the sandwich. You had it. I guarantee the guy was drinking. He was drinking or high or something like that. He just got the sandwich. You could see it was just still tightly wrapped, and he throws the sandwich at the guy. I would at least ate half the sandwich before I threw it at the guy. We got Trump in Alaska today. Excuse me. Meeting with President Putin from Russia. He's looking to get a ceasefire done today. Zelensky's already said, the president of Ukraine, that Zelensky's not going to give up any land. And I doubt if he would willingly do that. So something's got to be given to Putin and Zelensky to calm these two guys down so they'll have a ceasefire and end this war. Now, I think Putin realizes that he's probably not getting any land out of Ukraine. But there are probably other things that can satisfy Putin to have him step down. And it all comes down, in my opinion, money. If you're not getting land, he's going to want money. Now, what can Trump do money-wise? I don't know. You got some minerals, part of a deal with Ukraine. You can share some of that with Russia. Whatever you can do to save lives there, I'm in favor, as long as it doesn't hurt us. Not something stupid, and I don't think Trump would do stupid anyway. The guy is he's made a lot of deals. There's a reason the guy's a billionaire. But something's going to come down to resources and money for Russia. But I just don't see the Ukraine allowing them to keep any of the land that they've managed to take during the 3 years of plus war. But it will be interesting. And I tell you, if Trump can get a ceasefire, if he can end this war, he's the Nobel Prize winner. I'm telling you, he's already been nominated by Israel. He brought peace to the Middle East. Imagine if he gets a Nobel Prize, heads will explode. I mean, Democrats would freak out all over. They would cease to exist. Their heads would just go. That would be it. And if he could pull this off, and you know what? Trump knows it. If he could pull this off, he's the guy. He would have brought peace to the world. I don't know how many wars he's just stopped. I know we're talking about the ones in the Middle East, but there was Trinidad and Tobago or something like that. Some wars we didn't even know that were going on. You got Iran in their place right now, sitting back, realizing that yelling death to America is not going to work anymore. You got to give Trump the props that he's deserved. But if he could pull this off with Putin and Zelensky, the guy's a superstar. And, I don't know what the Democrats would do from there. It'll be interesting to see what occurs there. I got about 3 minutes left. Let's talk a little more Seaside Heights. Hopefully by tomorrow. Actually, Trump was saying with the thing with Putin, there might be another meeting that's got to be held. But if he can come out of there with a ceasefire today, I don't know what the Democrats are going to do then. What do you say? The guy is giving us world peace here. All right, Seaside Heights, I'm looking at here. The people are coming up on the boardwalk. They got their beach stuff. They got their carts. They got their little, I don't know what that is, that backpack kind of thing. It might be a beach umbrella. You got your Walmart bag with some beach stuff in there, I assume. Beach is starting, the boardwalk's starting to pick up. Well, I'm looking out on the beach right now. There's a lot of people sitting out on that beach. Got a little breeze coming off the ocean. I could have used a little more. Fortunately, they got a new flagpole here, but they don't have the flag up. And years past, when they had this huge flag here, that thing would be flapping away. That would be a problem for me with the audio here. But I'm telling you, if you can, come on down to Seaside Heights. It is a beautiful day. It's going to be a good weekend. I don't think it's going to rain. They're talking about rain late Sunday. But, if it's Sunday, 6, 7 o'clock, you're already heading home if you're just coming down for the day. And if you're not, and it's raining and you can't hang out on the boardwalk, go to movies. Go to Fortune Buffet. You have to wait a little bit. Fortune Buffet is an incredible business. There's people always waiting to get into that place. Go to Fortune Buffet. You got the planetarium. There's a lot of things you can do. You can sit in the beachcomber or listen to, what's the name of that group with the horns? Sonny something in the horns. He's always got live entertainment in the boardwalk, being a beachcomber. Again, it's my opinion, the best pizza on the boardwalk is in the beachcomber. Not knocking the Marukas. I know the Maruka family over there, just not into tomato pies. You got the House of Fries. I'm just looking at everything down. You got the ocean view. You got the Coors. You got DJs over there. There's a lot to do here in Seaside Heights, and you'll certainly enjoy it. Come on down, like I said. Come down for a day trip, overnight, the weekend. If you're going to stay for a week, probably want an apartment or an efficiency at one of those motels so you can do some home cooking. Cook at the, home cooking? It's home cooking even if you're cooking at a motel. This way you can stretch your budget. You can eat right and that sort of thing. So that's what you're looking for, an efficiency or an apartment. But I'm out of time. So you be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be broadcasting from the garage because there's an arts and crafts show here on the boardwalk. I'm Pat O'Melia with the Shore Show Seaside Heights edition. Thank you for listening.